the rhythms of life are just so bizarre and absurd and strange. And as soon as I took my phone out of my pocket to start doing this tiny spider landed on my hand. Just landed there, and I'm thrown into the awareness that I'm an environment for other individuals, and this relationship just started and is happening, which is kind of now he's on my hoodie. I'm just gonna let him go and let him chill. Yeah, and I'm really glad to have started this video like that. That's a really fucking cool little thing. So yeah, that's that. I'm doing this check-in introduction for this kind of, is it really a project yet? If this is the beginning, is it a project? It's maybe project, possible project, we'll see. I'll see. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know a lot of things, and I don't know where the spider's gone now. It's disappeared, vanished to uncertainty, unknowable. Yeah. This is a checking in thing for a possible project I'm thinking about calling Revolting videos, as something of an alternative to an activity that I've been engaged in for many years, and I'm somewhat still engaged in, though it's taken a very different shape and body and tone and intensity and style to what it was when it started. Yeah. When I started writing 9 years ago, it was very much blog. It's a blog. It's a blogger. And I've been doing the blog thing for a while, and I'll still have my blog, and I'll still probably put stuff on it. Well, I'll be using it as my site still, and I'll be like, whenever anything of mine gets published, I'll still be doing writing and whatnot. I've got writing projects on the go now, and I'll still put things on the blog in terms of writing things. But I've not been using the blog in the way that I was for quite some time, as I've been engaged in other activities and other things, which I'm going to speak to some of those here and share something about some of them, more about others, and perhaps not at all about one or two. We'll see. See what comes out of my mouth as I'm talking. I haven't got a plan or a script for any of this. I rarely do, even when writing, have much in the way of a plan. That's a car you're hearing in the background with a trailer on the back. I'm sat in woods near my house. Yeah, and I'm looking to potentially start doing the vlogging thing as something of an alternative to the blogging thing, in terms of just something of like somewhat regular articulation and expression of thoughts and ideas, many of which will probably be just me like repeating stuff that I've like written about and expressed better in writing over the years, but the repetition is different in the way that every repetition is different, and I can't say the same thing twice, really, you know. Can't even read the same thing twice, you know. So I find myself doing this. Why am I doing this? Why? What reason? What reason? Do I need to justify it? Maybe there'll be people who think I need to justify it. Maybe I think I need to justify it. I'm not sure that I do need to justify it. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this for various differing kind of, things which can be roundabout described as an existential crisis. Now, what's an existential crisis? What do I mean by that? What I'm meaning by existential crisis here is there's something of I have an existential crisis of oh shit, I need to be engaged in activities that have something of existential value for me, something that I find meaningful, where I'm doing creative stuff, I'm showing care, I'm being responsible for myself and for others I'm in relationship with. I need to be doing things that I have this need for kind of for activities that I can find meaning in, which is somewhat absurd, because like the attempt to find meaning is somewhat absurd. Like, everything that I do is in some way futile, and in 1,000 years from now no one's gonna care about what I did, and there's all that stuff. I don't believe anything that I do will provide me with salvation or transcendence or anything like that, but I'm still gonna do it because I want to do it. I just want to, and I can't justify it any more than that. The other existential crisis is the existential crisis of mass extinction, global warming, climate change, ecological collapse, all of that. And again, it comes from very much the same kind of ground, but there's something of like, I feel to care and be responsible, take as much responsibility as I can in terms of my ability to respond. Something of the articulation of thought and idea is perhaps something that I can do. I might have some ability there. I might be somewhat good at it. I don't know. Maybe I'm awful. Some people would think I'm awful, I'm sure. I know. People can say mean things on the internet, and I've been called mean things over the years, as something of we don't like the thoughts that you're expressing or the way that you're expressing them, and not everyone's going to like it. People are probably going to dislike a lot of this, maybe like a bit of it, maybe some people will love it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing it for an audience. I don't know if I am. I'm probably mostly doing it for myself. I don't know. I can't really justify why I'm doing this right now. Why am I sat in these woods videoing myself talking on a phone camera? Why am I expecting to possibly be doing this again? Maybe here, maybe other places. I don't have a justification for it, and that kind of seems okay to me. It's it's just it. I started 9 years ago doing the blogging thing, doing the trying to communicate thought thing. And I guess that brings me on to something of who I am. If this is an introduction, there's got to be something of who is this introduction about? Who am I? Who am I? Who are you? Who do you think I am? Who do you think I am? The response to that question that's given in Fight Club, the film, for sure, I can't remember if it's in the book. Is this a test, sir? I wonder, is this a test? Am I testing myself? How can I introduce myself? Who am I? I'm Julian Langer. Who's that? Who's Julian Langer? Who am I? Well, I've written some stuff. Does that make me a writer? Possibly I might be a writer. Probably am a writer. I mean, after the essays, the books, the short stories, the poems, the poetry collections, I think it's fair to say that I'm a writer. Maybe also a poet. Maybe a short storyist and an essayist. All just different ways of subcategorizing writer, right? The writing tends to draw a lot from the realm of philosophy, and maybe I can call myself something of a philosopher. Am I a philosopher? What's a philosopher? Well, a philosopher means someone who loves the exploration of truth and wisdom, or just loves truth and wisdom, whatever that might mean. Like, maybe there's something I can claim to be. Do I claim to be a philosopher of the academy? No, I ain't an academic. I ain't an authority or an expert. I ain't someone who's in peer-reviewed journals or anything like that. No. Am I a philosopher who is a teacher? No, I'm not a teacher. I don't claim to have answers. I'm not doing this to provide answers. I'm doing this to express thoughts and share thoughts, and maybe that will be meaningful to some people. Maybe they'll resonate with it, harmonize with it. I generally, if I think of myself as a philosopher, I tend to think of myself in the same vein as a philosopher, somewhat like, not exactly the same, we're different people, but something like Diogenes of Sinope, the philosopher as not as a status, but as a practice, as something that you live and you do, and with that, something of living with some level of intentionality and thought. Maybe. I'm very much inspired by Lev Shestov's idea that philosophy is about something of upsetting and encouraging uncertainty, and being something of a exploring how we live with uncertainty and live in uncertainty. And there's maybe something of what I'm trying to do here is share thoughts and ideas on how to live in uncertainty, how to do that. I live in uncertainty. I don't know when I'm going to die. I don't know if there's any point to what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on in the world, really. I see spectacles of what's going on in the world. I see, I live in the wilds of the Devonshire countryside. I don't live in the cities. I don't live where a lot of the news is happening. So I don't know. I might share some thoughts on my not knowing here. Maybe some things that are in the news, some pop culture references, perhaps, maybe not. Same with like not even pop culture, the alternative news, the activist news, the the news about what angry people around the world are doing, and I might share some thoughts around that. None of it's meant to be, I'm not a judge. I don't feel anyone has to justify themselves to me. Like, we're all just trying to live and survive this culture, this experience. I don't consider myself in any position to condemn anyone, or so something of that might be something of what I'm doing here and what I'm wanting to do. I lost a thought then. I had a thought. It's gone as I rambled. The the moment that brings me here in doing this is something of how I got to this point, how I got to be sat here on these sticks, on this decaying log in these woods in front of my little shrine that I made. I've been unwell. I am unwell. I am been living with labyrinthitis for a while. Constant feeling of vertigo and dizziness and a lot of nausea. And with that, I've been off work. I've been doing a lot of being very still. And when I'm still, I think. And there's been thoughts that have kind of got me here. I've recently put out a book online for free. It might go into print soon. There's possible avenues in that. I don't know if that'll happen. I hope it'll happen. I'd like for it to happen, and I'll probably do what I can to make it happen. And there's a whole mixture of affects, experiences that are affecting me. The experience of putting out another book, having intentions to write other books and do other things. Other meaningful activity. I've being ill. Again, kind of quite ill in a very disempowering way. It's brought me to doing this. People who have read me will know that I'm a brain tumour survivor. I was a brain tumour patient in my late teens, early 20s. And a lot of that experience, a lot of my thought is affected by my experience of unwellness, my experience of death throughout my life, and I share that with an openness that is somewhat risky and invites people to be mean. But I'm doing that here. Yeah, I'm feeling very unwell right now. All I've done today is this morning a little bit of housework, a little bit of house chores, and had some lunch, eaten some lunch, and I've walked the short distance from my house, which is a very short distance. I would not usually be feeling quite as tired and as revolting as I am feeling right now after so little activity. And so there's something of that bringing me in doing this. Like I find myself, motivated. Unwellness has a catalyzing effect in me. And so there's something of that here. Something of that. For the past few years, I've been training as a counsellor, as an ecotherapist, and I'm engaged in that training still. And part of my doing this goes with a movement in my thought and praxis, which is very much an orientation towards something of medicine person praxis, a belief that ultimately what I'm trying to do and what my desires are oriented towards is for wellness and health, and to help those I'm in relationship with, human, non-human, whatever, for them to be able to live well with wellness, and survive this culture with health and wellness until the point that they die, which is absurd, of course, but there's still something that I want to do. And so there's something about me wanting to be, maybe provide some thoughts, some perspective that might be helpful in that. I don't know. Again, I'm not arrogant enough to think that I have answers or solutions, or even believe that there are answers or solutions, but I have enough egoistic self-confidence and self-awareness to believe that I don't think that my thought is appreciated by the individuals it's appreciated by, as it has nothing of value in it. I don't think that. I might be able to speak to things that might be helpful, and that's something of what I'm wanting to bring here. So I've rambled quite a while, and I'm going to bring this to a close now. This is a checking in and an introduction, and I'm not sure when the next one will be, the next episode or video or whatever I'm going to call it. But yeah, love to all of you watching, whoever's watching, if anyone watches, and yeah.